Hey, it's Rex.
And KI.
So, D&D and other role-playing games, really fun. I enjoy them. They're one of my passions. You have a decent time with them from time to time.
Pretty fun.
And this is from the first edition of Pathfinder, which is a D&D spin-off RPG. And I've never taken the time to buy the beginner box. And they're no longer even on this edition. They've moved on to a second edition. Since I played a lot of D&D, I figured it'd be fun for the both of us, since we've played a lot,
Dive in.
to dive in and see what the beginner box actually entails. Okay, so pretty box, adventure awaits. So right away, it has a set of iconic red D&D / role-playing dice for the D20 system, and what looks like a bunch of stands for cardboard cutouts. Oop, there we go. Apparently they included a game masterless adventure to get you started on it. Yeah, a whole pre-made adventure. A transition guide. So it's basically the upgraded version of like a quick little handbook. Cool. I'm guessing this is the one they initially added, and then they added this one in later. It talks about skills work, rules on how to roll, tells you how to read spells, which is really useful for a newer player. Just basically a bunch of useful information. Really cool.
And there's the Hero's Handbook, which is the adventure itself, it looks like.
This is the actual adventure. This has an actual D&D Pathfinder adventure. I'm going to keep saying D&D and Pathfinder interchangeably because with the first edition of Pathfinder, they were kind of the same. Ooh, it has the rules on creating a character and goes through it. Gives you some really minimal options, great for a beginner. The first edition of Pathfinder has been out so long that there's literally a lot of options, so if you're a new player, you can be overwhelmed. This is a nice way to get some players used to the rules. Pathfinder has a lot more customization, so there's so many different things you can do with a fighter. You could have a whole party of fighters and they'd all be different. Wizard. A little bit weird that they put the wizard in here instead of the sorcerer. I feel like the sorcerer would have been an easier class to pick up.
Much easier. Yeah.
But I guess the bloodline does complicate it a little bit, so wizard's like, here's a wizard, pick some spells.
Yeah, sure.
Overall, this is pretty nice because I could give this to a beginner player instead of a person who's been playing for a long time. And this would do a pretty good job of teaching them.
Just want to skip over that. They also have in this box pre-made character sheets. Oh, bam.
Like, normally a character sheet isn't this extravagant, but this is nice. Like, to get someone into it, it talks. Ooh, it even has their backstories on the back, so you can find out who they are. I mean, this is for pre-gen characters. I like to make my own character. These are pretty nice. They did include some really nice character sheets for people to make their own characters. I'm gonna have fun with these later.
I enjoy it.
I think I'm gonna have to.
Make some copies of this.
Oh yeah, make some copies. This is the Game Master's Guide. Basically, if you're running the game, this is gonna have all the magic items, rules, the actual campaign. I think. Yeah, this has the actual like full-on practice campaign. If you want to see us actually go through this, we'll even. Your choice. We can just roll the pre-gen, or we can take the time to make our own characters, only using the rules available in these books, and we can do like a game, but that's up to you. Oh, cool! It has a bunch of the combat conditions on the back of this, so you have like a quick reference guide for conditions and effects. It comes with. Oh man, I did not know I was getting. Oh, ooh. So this top mat is basically a really fancy looking D&D mat. But these grids are important because they, for the purposes of combat and some encounters, help you keep track of things. Because I've been playing role-playing and Pathfinder games for a long time. If you don't take the time to have everything out, you have players teleporting halfway across the map, moving further than they can. This helps keep an idea of where everything is. And then they also took the time to give us a full-on dungeon, which I think is actually for that adventure path. So I'm gonna let you guys see it, but I'm not gonna look at it too much in case you want us to run through it. So here's a bunch of character cutouts. They go over what each of the characters are, monsters, player characters. That's what this one is. This is just a bunch of player characters and a black dragon. And then just a bunch of monsters. Like, again, if you want us to do this, we will. I'll go ahead and get a couple of people. If that's something you'd be interested in watching us do, I'll gather up some of my friends and we'll run through this. It's up to our viewers if they want to watch us stumble through this together. So until next time, thanks for joining us. There's nothing wrong with playing an older edition of a game. If Paizo wants me to play the second edition of the game and send me a second edition box set, I will totally do that. But this is what was in my budget right now, and I'm familiar with it. Until next time, roll high, roll low. Your fate is a roll of the dice, and take care.